Hello, my fellow board gamers, and welcome to the channel all about economic board games. Today, I bring you a special trading game. This is AU, and this is brought to us by the publishers here, and the designer is being rather modest. He's not put his name on the board itself, but he is Gavin Birnbaum. Now, this one is a 4-player game, and it's probably that light to medium complexity and takes in the region of about 45 to 60 minutes, and this is a handmade wooden game. It's absolutely beautiful, this version, folks. So turning it over, this is the actual boxing game itself, which I'll set up. But to give you a bit of a brief, what we are doing, we're nations competing to trade our resources for currency, hoping to acquire more gold to get better value for our currency, to have a chance of winning depending on which currencies we have at the end of 4 rounds. Now, it's set in the 1900s, which is where we start, and the world is on a gold standard, and your goal is to become the wealthiest nation with all these currencies here. And by 1971, that's after round 4, you'll see who's made the most shrewdest business decisions for your nation. So there's 4 nations. Now, there's only me as usual, and it's just a run through. If you're after an overview, check out a video I brought you guys last week. I am really going to struggle with just me playing 4 nations, so in terms of the trading aspect, I'll just be swinging that along. So we've got the nation. So looking at the board here, then there's some lovely descriptions of where the national debt was for the US on there as well. So we're going to put these boats on here, and they can sort of go in any order, and these boats represent sort of the cargo of resources which you'll be hoping to trade. Now we have these sort of victory point trackers we can put there for now. So we've got some extra currency if we do some quantitative easing. We've got some extra resources we'll be bidding on in terms of the zinc, and then second place will be for one of your resources. We've got the round marker where we'll put on round 1 just here, and you've got these audit sort of pieces for your nation, and you all start with 20 gold, 20 currency, and the balance or the variance is 0, which is your credit rating. So we're just going to plonk those on here. Now you can see that on the side are some victory points. So whoever has the highest credit rating, and you'll start with 0 in the first round, will go at the top here. And after round 4, if you have got a nation which has got the highest credit rating, that currency will be worth 3 victory points each. But it might not necessarily mean your nation wins. It depends on you as a personal investor, how much currency you have of everyone else's as you trade throughout the game. Now, there's a couple of variants in terms of the end game scoring. Is the 10k, which literally gives the winner who has the most of the top currency. There's the 18k, which is probably the one I prefer to play myself, is where you trade all your currencies depending on the value of VPs and see the winner. And there is, let me just remind myself what it was called now. It was the 24k, which is ratios, and you figure out the ratios of the credit differences, which makes a lot more accurate sense, because if the USA, which you probably won't understand this right now, but if there's a big margin gap between some of these credit ratings, it will actually take that into account by using this sort of ratio, and there's an app for that as well. So we are pretty much set up here. So what have we got in front of us then? So this is all spares, we'll ignore that. Each player has got their sort of nation, which reminds you, you're Russia, you're trading in gas, and your currency is the ruble. On the back, in the opening round, we are bidding, printing, and auditing. So auditing, should I say. So we're bidding here. So you've all got a dry white marker pen, and you'll be spending gold, and it kind of reminds you there. Now, if you do have the chance to print currency, which we don't in the first round, you can only print currency if your credit rating is positive. So let's say, for example, the US had a credit rating of 5. They could sort of quantitative ease, so they could bring more money into the game using these available ones here, up to 5. So if they were at 4 more currency comes out into the game, but that means they have to change and audit what these numbers are on here. So we'll hopefully give you an example of that. So this is the first phase then. Now I'm going to act as 4 players, so let's go then. So we'll bid in, let's just say Russia wants to, well, what we're bidding for is zinc. So this is a unique resource. There's only 4, 1 per round. Now let's just say these guys go for, well, I'm not going to write them all down actually, I'll just kind of, so let's say these guys did bid, so they wrote in here 2, and that is gold they are spending. You start with 20, remember, in front of you, so you've got these 5s and 1s. So they bid 2. Let's say these guys had bid 4. Now this would all be secret, and once you've revealed, whoever has bid the highest will acquire this zinc and keep it in their sort of boat there. So let's just assume that Greens won the bid. They had 5 gold spent, so they would actually take the 5 gold and just put it to the side for now, and they've got 15 remaining. So they audit, so they acquire the zinc, they put that in their green ship there, and we reflect the difference here. Now if you were second, you would get one of your resources. So let's say Orange was second, they had a bid of 3, so they as a compensation get another coal, but this zinc is really valuable. So they spent 5, so we'd use this to take their gold down. They now have 15 gold, but their currency is still the same for the opening round anyway, because they had a credit rating of 0. But now you can see their credit rating is -5, because this game is all about the gold standard. And if you know your history of currency, prior to 1971, the backing of currency was by gold. So in this case, there's not enough gold supporting the currency, so they're in -5. So you change these, and you can see currently the USA is at the bottom. Now if there was a tie, you wouldn't get the zinc, you'd move it over to the next round, and you'd each get compensation of one of your matching resources. So Orange have had their coal. We now enter phase 2, which is trading. Now it's 5 minutes. Get your timer ready. I haven't got one handy, but I'm just gonna assume the time there. But basically, if 5 minutes is up, that is the end of trading. And the other way for this trading to finish is if 2 boats have come off. So if the yellow player here, which let me remind me which nation, so you got Germany, I'll turn these back around. So if Germany has finished trading, you have to do at least 1 trade. So let's say they had done 1 trade and like, right, I want to end this because I want to try and speed things up. They take the boat off, and then let's say the green players here, USA, had taken their off. Trading has ended, and if these 2 were in negotiation, they could finalise that particular deal, but you wouldn't be able to negotiate further, and that would be it. Then that is the end of trading phase. So I'll hypothetically go through this now. We've started the 5-minute timer, and Russia has got the gas here. They're trading with, let's say, the UK, and they're like, right, I'd like a coal, please. Well, please, we're being very polite here, aren't we? I need a coal. I can give you, well, I have to give you one of your currencies. So every transaction you do has to be at least one of your currencies. So saying, right, I'll give you a ruble. I'll give you 2 rubles for a coal. Yeah, that's a deal done. So the coal goes over to their boat. The rubles swap hands. So now the UK has some ruble currency. And this is all simultaneous, so everyone's talking amongst each other. So let's just say the UK wants to do a deal with Germany, and they're like, right, I've got some rubles here. They're fairly good credit rating, still 0. I'll trade you. Well, I have to give you one of my pounds and a ruble, and I'll take an iron. Okay, done deal. So they take the currency. Now you can trade with gold as well, but remember, you have to at least give one of your nations. So I'm just going in order here, but let's say Germany want to do a deal with the USA, and they're like, okay, I'm going to give you one of my marks, and I'll give you a ruble as well for what we're doing, one of your oils. So yeah, we'll do that. They've handed that over. Now, interestingly, you'll see that the Greens here, they'd placed a bid for that zinc. Now, their value of their currency is kind of, the strength of it is -5 at the moment. So they're like, okay, I'd really like a gas from red, which is Russia. They're offering $1, and the Russian player's like, well, it's -5. I don't really want your dollars, to be honest, because at the end of the game, they're going to be worth 0 victory points. So now this country's in a position, because of the value of their currency, they're struggling to trade their goods. So they're like, okay, I'll give you $2, please. I really need that resource, and it'll make sense why you need these. $3, okay, I'll take your weak currency. So they go $3, and they hand over, where are we, one of the gas to the US, we said. Now, it's in everyone's favour potentially to want to sell them, because you might want to hold a diversified portfolio of currencies, because these are going to sway. It's only round 1. I appreciate USA is currently lesser value rate than the others, but you never know. Holding on to those dollars might sort of swing around near the end of the game. So that's kind of what you're doing back and forth. You might want to trade gold. So let's give you a few other examples. So we've got Russia, who's like, okay, I'll give you one of my rubles and one of my gold, and this is going to go to the UK for well, actually we'll go to Germany for one of their iron. Yeah, that's a done deal. We'll add the gold there. We don't adjust these just yet. There's an audit phase just after this, and let's just say, you know, there'd be a lot more trading, but the yellows, the Germany are like, right, I'll take my boat off and finish trading, and these guys are finished as well. All the 5-minute timers are. At that point, you would do a quick audit, so you'd have a look at well, you do your mining first, actually. You could do your audit in a minute. So the resources you've acquired would then go into these tracks to do your mining. So let me just pop these back up a sec. So we're looking at Russia, and they've got a gas, so one of their own gas. So what you're doing is you're filling it following these arrows, and you have to have unique resources in the top, well, in a row. So you've got each individual resource, and you kind of probably don't really want to spend this iron thinking about it because you've hit the 1 already, but you can't quite hit the 2. And this is mining, so you're going to go into this bag and you're going to take the number of tokens you've managed to hit. So you've acquired the resource, you've got the capabilities to go mining. Now in this case we've only got 1, so we're going to go in the bag, we're going to pick. Now these range from, I think, 6% to -5 to begin with. You've got some 0s, you've got some 5s and 10s, so we've hit a -5. That's unfortunate. Now there's not many in there, and it's kind of just add a little bit of theme to it, you know, some disasters that can happen as you go along your trading. But basically you keep this hidden for now until you wish to declare it, and you've spent those resources, so those would go back to the relevant player. So coal goes back to this player. You do this after everyone's done your mining, so because at the moment these can be used by that player to fill their board, so everyone fills those. So let's just leave those there for a second. And the UK's got a coal and an iron, so they're going to get 1, so we'll take 1 in here. And well, they got a 0. Yellows, so they've all got 2 each. Now I'll just do these for showing you guys. So they would get 1 out the bag. We'll do that one. They got a -5 as well. Wow. So over to USA. So they did acquire the zinc, and they paid a big price for that, 5 gold. Now they got, you can see that resource can be used as well. Unfortunately, they've only hit 3, so they're probably not going to want to spend that gas maybe and save that for next round. But you can see how trading with all your opponents, having good relationships to get as many resources as you can. Because if you do get, let's say the greens had this as a scenario, so they had all 4 there, all different resources, but they'd acquired, you know, they traded multiple times for several types. And let's just assume, you know, this row here, they had something like, or what they're after a gas, aren't they? This, you can see they've got 4 unique resources. They can take 4 gold from the bag, a bit of luck as to what you get, and then all these will get handed back. And it doesn't, the columns can be the same, that's fine, it's just the rows. So everyone takes all their gold, you then hand back your spent resources to all these different areas, and you will then, so the zinc would go back to them, iron, let's be as quick as I can here, gas, oil, and then basically you're going to be auditing to make sure your current supply of gold matches up on here. Now, you know what, I might just yeah, we'll do this properly. I kind of want to really show you how it works. So we've got coal, they've got their gold, we've got a gas, we've got a coal. So you can see, because the UK player during that bidding round was second, they've got an extra resource, which means you can, you know, have better dealings when you trade that out, which means, oh, who had the -5 now? I can't remember. Okay, I don't think these guys actually took their one. So what we would do now is the audit then. So we've looked at where we've got now. This is where you can declare, or you don't have to declare. Now, why is this important? So let's say the reds here, they've currently got, what, 15 there, plus they've still got 20, but they've got a -5. Now, it's secret from other players at the moment. If they declare it, they reveal it, add it to their pile, and they adjust this accordingly. So Russia would now have, frustratingly, 15 gold, and it would go down to -5. Now, they probably may not want to do that. They want to keep it secret that they've had a bit of misfortune, because they can keep the strength of their currency higher, which gives them better bartering power as they go into the next round. These guys equally might want to do the same. They've had a -5, so they might want to not declare that. these guys have had a zero, so they're like, you know what, I'm just going to reveal it. People have confidence that there's nothing dodgy in the background there. They did manage to acquire 1 gold during a transaction, so they could, well, they're going to have to increase that because that's already open information. So they'd increase that, and you'd affect these. So let's do Germany for you. So the gold now, they've got 21, because this will make a difference in the next round. And their gold minus the currency is now 1. And these guys, where are they? So they've still got 10, 15, and I didn't actually take from the bag for them. Let's assume they just took 1. Now, this would have been early. Ooh, they would have gained a 10. So this shows you now. So these guys are revealed. These guys are keeping it secret, undeclared. Now, if these guys did reveal this 10 and just upped it, which we're going to do, and there's 2 reasons why you may or you may not want to do this. If you didn't, it's kind of all very even on the board, and they can kind of keep it secret and not trade many of their dollars and try and keep that currency, because it's going to get a massive boost, because at the end of the game you're going to have to reveal all these undeclared gold, and in doing so your currency then has could leapfrog loads of others and be worth 3 victory points, and no one else has had faith in your dollar, so you've got loads of it, and there's more victory points for it. Or if you do declare it, well, let's say, where are we, USA, as well, they're going to run 15 here, so it now goes back up to 25. Not only does that give them change from a -5 to a +5, gives them more bartering power now. So at the end of the audit phase, you then shift these all around. So the 5's at the top here. We've got the UK, should I say Germany. So that's the new pecking order then. We'd go into round 2. Now, having done that, they've now got a credit rating, which means when we're going to round 2 and we're doing that bidding phase, when it comes to bidding for the zinc, yep, you declare, you've got potentially more gold to play with, because the USA now could just easily bid 5 gold, and they're only going to go back to 0. But they've already got a zinc. Was it them who had a zinc? Well, if they had acquired a zinc already, you can have 2 zincs if you want, if you can bid enough gold, because you can use them on both lines. But it also print currency. So if they do decide to put 3 here, there's no competition on printing currency, you just do it, then this would be affected, because your currency would go up at the end of the audit phase for that. Let's just say you printed 3, so you've now added, where are we, it's just the dollar, wasn't it? So you've added, well, I've got a 4 there, but let's just say it was 4. You've added 4 currency to all your currency in the world, and this figure comes down to 2. Your rating's now slightly less, but if you remain in a good position at the end of the game with 3 victory points, there's more currency out there to multiply that 3 victory points, and it gives you more currency to barter for other people's currency. So very, very interesting play that. Okay, so the only other thing really to note, we did the mining and auditing, was you've got these audit tokens. So you've got 1 of these, and during any point in the 4 rounds, probably middle of the game, you probably want to do this. If these players, let's say one of these players had acquired quite a few of these and they're all hidden, each player can say, look, I want to audit this player. So they spend their audit token. These guys would have to reveal secretly just to that one player what they have got, and that gives that nation an idea of what's going on in the background here. And they're like, wow, they've got 10, 25 minus the 5, they've got 20 increase. So it gives them as a nation a rough idea of what they're competing against in terms of the currencies and what potentially to hold. And you literally go through the 4 rounds, and just to sort of remind you, you're going to be doing that bidding for 5 minutes, or if 2 of the ships comes off, you're going to be bidding for the zinc, printing your currency. You're then going to go into that trading round for 5 minutes. If the boats come off, you then do the mining and you do the auditing as well. And after 4 rounds, depending on where these have jockeyed for position, let's just say, well, it wouldn't probably be like this, there'd be probably 40 gold out there and what have you. But if this was the case, the red currency, if you're holding rubles, it's worth 0. It's nothing. So you do not want to be holding that. But it might have been a strategy throughout, even if you are getting these -5s during the mining. You might decide mid-game, right, this ain't working out. My currency is not got the strength I want because the gold just isn't there to back it up. I'm going to start I'm not going to declare it. I'm going to start trading my rubles out there for the resource and trying to acquire other people's currency. Maybe you're selling rather than buying. You're shifting your currency, you're getting other people's currency. You then reveal yours. You've tanked the currency and you don't have a lot of it, and you've got everyone else's. So you can kind of not guarantee, but you kind of know that you have controlled how bad you have done to put you at the bottom. So at least everyone else's currency you've hopefully acquired will give you a lot more victory points. So some very interesting play there. And that is it, folks, really. These kind of, you don't really need them on the board, but once you get to the end, all your currency you have, and again, if it's the 10k version, you're going to literally, and if it ended like this, the USA, anyone who's got USA, whoever has the most of it, so 3 VPs times, say 3 here would be 9 victory points. If you play the 18k version, which I'd recommend, you know, you get all your rubles here, which are worth nothing, you'd have 9 points for those. This player would have all these yellows multiplied by 2, they'd have 1 orange at 0 and 1 red at nothing, and whoever has the most VPs is the winner. There we are, folks. That is AU.